Mix your clay and sand together, adding water once it is fully mixed. Make sure to break any clumps that are formed when the water is added so that the water is evenly distributed. To test the mixture, grab a bunch in your hand and squeeze it. It should form a clump that doesn't break apart when you open your hand. Drop it from shoulder height. When it hits the ground, some of it should disperse, but the bulk of it should stay as a mound on the ground. Once your mixture is complete, add the crushed rubble. The pieces can range from 1 to 8 centimeters. Once your rubble is fully incorporated, add it to your bag in your desired location. Tamp it until it is firm. Adding the rubble to the mixture will help significantly increase the strength of your bag, making your building more resistant to high-speed projectiles.
SuperAdobe uses a two-compass system. The first compass is called the fixed compass, and it is twice as long as the second compass, the height compass. The fixed compass remains in the center of the dome and is used to mark the inward curvature. The second compass, the height compass, is used to replicate the curvature around the entire circumference of the building, giving it a bell curve rather than half-circle shape.
Use 2 chains. Chain 1 should start in the center of the build, and chain 2 at the outer edge. Make chain 1 the length of the radius, and make chain 2 the length of the diameter. Use chain 1 to mark the inner and outer circumference of the build. The difference between the inner and outer circumference should be the width of the bags you are using. After you have dug the foundation and filled it with gravel, you are ready to lay your first row of bags. Once you have laid your first row of bags, use chain 1 fitted with something adjustable to mark the length of the radius. We have been using Q rings. You could also use D rings or anything that can be easily adjusted throughout the build. When the first row is complete, grab chain 2, making sure it stays directly across from where it starts, going over the center of the building. You can mark the ground in that spot so that you can get the same location every time. Lift it to the height of the second row. Grab chain 1 and adjust the marker so that it matches with chain 2. As you lay down your bags around the building, use chain 1 to make sure that the bags are the right distance from the center of the build. You can lift the bags and bring them in if they are too far out, and you can push the bags if they're too far in. Repeat this process with every row. When you're nearing the top of the dome, fill the bags with less mixture so that they are thinner, and tamp them with a slight slope toward the outside of the dome. Make sure each bag has at least 3/4 of its mass resting on the bag beneath it, with at most 1/4 protruding toward the center of the dome. Getting the dirt up to the top can be a challenge, as the bags will be too heavy to easily lift. I would recommend, throughout the build, using small buckets full of your mixture to pass the dirt from mixer to bag. There are a few ways you can get these small buckets to the top. One way is using a pulley system. This will take some time to set up and some expertise, but it can be an efficient way of getting mixture to the top of the build. Another method is using smaller buckets full of mixture and throwing them to the person filling the bags. This will take some skill and time to get used to, but it can be the fastest method. Another method, likely the easiest, will be use a line of people going up the build, each passing buckets full of dirt to the person above them till they reach the top.